It's a special occasion, so you splurge on a $300 bottle of wine. What if that bottle turned out to be simple fermented grape juice with a fancy fake label? The scary thing is, counterfeit wine is a multi-million-dollar global issue. It hits both prized collectors as well as everyday drinkers. In today's episode, we are exploring some of the biggest global wine frauds over the past 20 years, how they fooled even the experts, and what you can do so it doesn't happen to you. Welcome to Everyday Sommelier, where we make learning about wine approachable, fun, and something you can actually enjoy. I'm your host, Kristi Mayfield. Think of me as your sommelier next door, here to help you cut through the complexity so you can enjoy every glass with confidence and learn wine your way. I remember it well. The Sour Grapes documentary covering Rudy Kurniawan, who frauded the entire wine industry. At the time I watched the show, I was a complete wine novice, but that intrigue I had in the show surprised even me. What was the deal here? Rudy was creating in his kitchen sink rare Burgundies and rare Bordeaux wines, fakes, duping the elite of elite wine collectors and auction houses. And this was fascinating to me as a mere bystander. But at the end of the day, the damage that incident had on the wine industry was immense. It completely shattered people's trust in the fine wine market. But even if those experts were fooled, how could someone like me, a complete and total wine novice, ever trust any bottle ever again? Even high-end wines are vulnerable, even those that sell at auction for thousands of dollars after being analyzed by the experts to see if they truly are the real deal. And at the end of the day, that high price still did not guarantee that wine's authenticity. So here I am today. I have spent years studying wine, and I can still feel a sense of uncertainty. So if you feel that same sense of uncertainty about whether that bottle you're purchasing is real or not, you're not alone. So let's break down a few true stories that have shaken the wine world, and then let's explore clues and cues that you can start looking for today to guarantee what's in your glass tonight. You're thinking, wine fraud? It's never going to happen to me. I don't collect rare, high-dollar bottles, right? But sadly, it's not just the elite world of wine that faces the challenge of wine fraud. Between the years of 2019 and 2021, Spanish wines were hit hard by fraud. Standard low-level wines were fraudulently being labeled as high-tier wines from two of the most famous regions for creating high-quality Tempranillo, Rioja and Ribera del Duero. Why did this matter? This regional fraud not only diluted trust in these respected, world-renowned appellations, but the Spanish wine industry as a whole suffered. 750,000 bottles of wine were found to be falsely labeled. In addition to that, 3.2 million fake labels, in addition to what had already put on bottles, were discovered. And as of this year, reports indicate that an estimated 9 to 10 million bottles of counterfeit wine have been produced every single year. That's huge. So what is the point for you as a consumer to pay for a name, to pay for a wine from one of these revered regions if you think it might be a fake? We all, as wine consumers, need to learn what measures regions like Rioja and Ribera del Duero are taking to validate the authenticity of these wines. Cheap bulk wines that are coming out of China and other countries are being sold as well-known wine regions around the world, from Italy's Chianti to California's Napa. Big brands are being knocked off. These wines are sold everywhere, not only through your local grocery store, but also through online resellers. Fake wines can be found anywhere around the globe. And for you as an everyday consumer, not just high-end auction house collectors can be betrayed. Even your Tuesday night wines might be affected. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to flip the game and we are going to foil the frauds. So let's start with what you can do, little clues, small but important details you can start looking for on every single bottle of wine to ensure that you are getting the value you're paying for. Being unsure about what you're buying can make you nervous and can make you extraordinarily frustrated. It's overwhelming to go to the grocery store and feel as though you have to be good at spotting fakes when you simply want to enjoy a bottle of wine on a Tuesday night. You've likely allayed these fears thinking no fakes are sitting on the local shelf of my H-E-B or Tom Thumb, right? Trusting any wine that's sold online or anywhere at a deal or seemingly too good to be true likely should raise your eyebrows and put you in a position of being an investigator. Here's what you can do instead. First, buy from trusted retailers and importers. Do your research. Before you purchase from an online retailer, read the reviews and look for clues about that reseller. Highly unlikely that a high-end or a legit online wine seller is going to ask you to pay them through Venmo, Zelle, or possibly even PayPal. Familiarize yourself with regional authenticity indicators. Each region is focusing on making sure you are getting the quality wines that you are investing in. Go online and look at labeling laws, labeling indicators, and each region will have their own. So do that quick online search and familiarize yourself with the country-specific labeling that is designed for you to be able to verify the authenticity of the wine you're purchasing. And if you see that that wine should have a label or a hologram or some other indicator and you don't see it on that bottle, no matter how good of a deal it is, consider passing on that purchase. Inspect everything from screw caps to the foils on a corked bottle for things like embossing or holograms or tiny little micro printing, and most importantly, trusting your own instincts. If it seems like it's too good of a deal to be true, it probably is. In response to all of this potential fraud, the industry is taking note. They understand that you trusting them is critical for the future of the wine industry as a whole. And all of the fraudulence and counterfeits can ruin not only a single winery's reputation, but an entire wine region's reputation faster than any single corked bottle. What are they doing to protect themselves? And it's all coming through major innovations and anti-fraud measures, particularly around packaging. Let's get into some of the security features that you can look for on bottles starting tonight. The first are holographic and tamper-evident labels. We see all of the holographs on our passports. We see them on our currency. Wine labels, too, are starting to use these technologies because they're hard to replicate. These are visual features, intricately designed holograms, microtexts, designed to validate the authenticity of the wine inside the bottle. Tamper-evident elements, once you remove them and you see a discrepancy, you know that wine bottle might have been tampered with and what's inside is not necessarily what the winemaker put in there. Many wineries are now using unique serial numbers. So each bottle is assigned an individual and traceable number. Sometimes it's on the closure. Sometimes it's on the cork. Sometimes it's on the bottle itself. And that number can be traced throughout the entire supply chain from the winery to your counter. This digital tracking and authentication guarantees the provenance, which is the entire life cycle of that bottle, can be traced all the way back to its origin. NFC, RFID codes and tags, and QR codes are found more and more on the labeling of wine bottles. And these little chips, if it's an RFID or an NFC or a QR code, can be embedded or printed on any label or on any capsule or cork, and can be triggered. So you, when you're shopping, can take your very own personal smartphone and either tap it to the RFID or scan that QR code to track its journey back to origin. More and more wineries are implementing these simple technologies to gain your trust before you spend your hard-earned money on that bottle of wine. When combined with QR codes or NFC codes, blockchain technologies also can ensure absolutely unquestionable records of a wine bottle's history from vineyard to consumer and ensure authenticity, protecting you from counterfeit wines. Inside the bottle alone, super advanced and comprehensive solutions can be used. These are both chemical or DNA elements and solutions that give a chemical signature or a DNA marker to the wine inside that bottle. So think of this like a wine's own digital passport. The best part is you as a consumer, you won't taste it, you won't see it, you won't even know it's there, other than to know that you can have the satisfaction and the validity that that wine is authentic. Now, at the complete extreme end of the cautionary spectrum, wineries can use a combination of any or all of these technology. Comprehensive anti-counterfeit systems can potentially combine things like NFC identity with anti-refill technologies, those tamper-resistant technologies, DNA protection, blockchain-based supply chains, micro-engraved codes, holographic or QR authenticity seals, tamper-evident screw camps, all the above to ensure that you, the consumer, are getting what you paid for, because the wine industry knows that your trust matters. So they are building in tools to help you feel confident every single glass, every single pour. Wine should be about enjoyment. It should be about joy. It should be about pleasure. It should not be about doubt and uncertainty. And with a little awareness from the tips that I've shared, looking up the regional labeling laws for authenticity validation, trusting the source where you are purchasing that wine, whether at your local wine shop or grocery store or online. And third, looking for all of those elements on the wine bottle, on the label, and leveraging QR codes. Do a quick scan. Check it out. Is it a real, authentic wine? With just a little bit of awareness and a little bit of preemptiveness, you can start to sip confidently, regardless of whether you're purchasing a $30 from Spain or a $3,000 plus Domaine de la Romane Conti from an auction house. You're now armed with the cues and clues to ensure you're getting the real deal. So check out the bottles you already have at home. Look at the foils, look at the screw caps, look at the labels, look at the holograms, and start looking at the details to make sure you're getting an authentic wine. As always, we at Everyday Sommelier are here to answer your wine questions and to help you maximize your wine journey. And we love sharing stories and insider tips on Instagram. If you want more of Everyday Sommelier, follow me at Kristi Everyday Sommelier. That's Kristi Everyday Sommelier. And if you want to take it to the next step, you don't want to miss a single edition of my weekly LinkedIn newsletter. So head on over to LinkedIn and follow me at Kristi, Kristi Mayfield, and subscribe to WineWise Everyday Sommelier newsletter. And don't forget, that's WineWise, WIZE. I'm going to put the link in the show notes so you can find it quickly. In our next episode, we are going to be diving into old vines. What does it really mean? What impact can it have on your personal wine journey? And what's actually in your glass if that bottle says old vines? And why does it matter? So when you pull out that bottle for dinner tonight, check the label, check that foil capsule. And if they possess any of the elements you've learned today, you can trust the authenticity of that wine and continue to learn wine your way.